This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
You made it to midway through the week, everybody. Welcome. It is Coffee, Country, and Cody. We are inside the Simply Superior studio at the A-Cup House on the Opry Plaza. Charlie Mattos on my left. Annie Nye on my right. Jeff Roberts above us. He keeps everything flowing the way that it's supposed to be flowing from up above. And then, hi, I'm Kelly Sutton. Happy to be here. Did that feel weird that I said flowing from up above?
A little weird, yeah.
He is the puppet master, though. If he doesn't push the buttons, we're not on TV.
And he's on the second floor, so I do get what you're saying. It seemed rather mystical the way you phrased it, though.
He is a mystical creature. You never see him.
That's correct, yes.
But we do hear from him, and we know his opinions on a lot of things.
And on TV, I'm on your right.
I said on my left.
Right.
That's why I said it
Correct.
that way.
Okay.
See? Oh, we're directionally challenged.
Yeah.
Welcome to Wednesday, everybody.
You had a late night at the Opry, too.
I did.
You're tired this morning.
Incredible show. We had an Opry debut with JOHNNYSWIM. They were amazing. They're actually going to come in and hang out with us in the 9 o'clock hour on radio. So make sure that you're listening to that. But such a great performance from them. And I believe a first at the Grand Ole Opry.
Really? We've been doing it 100 years.
That's what I'm saying. I think there was a first last night.
What did you do?
I didn't do it. They did it.
Okay. Oh, they did it. All right.
Well, Ian, that's coming up. We've got entertainment headlines. Winner of the Westminster Dog Show is a giant schnauzer. Stay tuned that you want to see that, because to me, my mind can't compute how big this dog is. And he's still a schnauzer and still has the face and everything that goes along with it. A great way to get back at your ex. We were talking about that. I found more. So if you're coming up on Valentine's Day with a lot of bitter in your heart, we're here for you. So if there's things that you just need to get out of your system, I think I found a release. Stay tuned.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Good morning, everybody. We are excited to welcome Ron Pope into the studio this morning. We were just talking about MySpace. So, he's of a certain age like us. Yeah, you said you were the mayor of MySpace.
I did feel like I was, certainly.
Right?
My brother got on it really early, so I jumped in really early and started spreading my music on there and making all sorts of friends. I always say that I was everybody's MySpace boyfriend. I had a very adorable picture because I was 19.
Right.
So.
That was the key thing, though. I mean, it was the first real social network where you could share things like your music. And there were so many, Taylor Swift, there were so many people that were posting their music there. So what were those first posts like for you, Ron?
Wow, what were the first ones like? I don't know. It is the place where my music first got popular, though.
Yeah.
So it's very weird because it doesn't exist. It's like coming from a town that they closed and then they flooded it and it's gone. You're
under the water.
There used to be trees and a church here. Now there's just nothing but water.
And they're like, okay, Grandpa, sure. But I do love the fact that that was such a vehicle and that it was this grassroots thing that people latched onto and they found your music through that. And you probably still have so many of those fans that come and see you live.
It is really wild. People will be like, I had your song on my MySpace profile. And, now I have grown-up children. I'm like, oh, man.
It's beautiful, though. It's a beautiful thing.
Just to prove that nothing really ever goes away.
No. Did you find it?
Ron Pope, Brooklyn, New York. I'm making a new record, and you have 33,000 people following you.
Well, look at that. There I was.
Yes.
There
you are. There you are. It still is there.
Yes.
See, it never goes away.
Oh, wow.
When did music start for you?
I started playing music as a teenager. I grew up singing like everybody who ends up being a singer does, but my best friend had a guitar. His dad was a folk singer, and he used to tour in the 70s, and so he came over one day with a guitar, and we started writing songs when I was 12 or 13. And we were in a very terrible band growing up.
Oh, please tell me the name of the band.
The band was called Longfellow because his father was Patrick Longfellow, his folk singer. His name was Patrick Longfellow. And so we were called Longfellow at first.
That's not terrible, though.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's a pretty cool one.
The name was much better than the band was. And
That's good.
That became my college band. He joined that band with me, and we started it with some of my friends at college, and I was in that band until my solo project took off and I became a solo artist.
Oh, that is so cool. Where did you go to school?
First I went to Rutgers and then I went to NYU.
Okay. Why did the switch? What happened?
Well, you played baseball for a while.
I went to Rutgers to play baseball mostly. I guess you're supposed to say I went to college to get an education, but I went to college to hit a ball with a stick.
There you go.
Fair.
And then when I wasn't doing that anymore, I wanted to go to a different school. I really liked being in New York, and I knew that I was interested in music, so I went there, and that's where I met all the people that basically pointed me towards becoming a professional musician.
Wait, culturally, you had an interesting background growing up, though, because you grew up in Jersey until about age 11, then moved to Marietta, Georgia, and could be a culture shock for an 11-year-old.
It was definitely a big part of my identity. You know, you live in a place, and you move to a brand new place that is so culturally different, and so it really made me feel like I didn't have any place that was my home. And so it really made the road feel much more comfortable for me when I started going on the road, because it was easy for me to show up in a new place every day. It was like, oh, well, I don't care where I am. I'm happy to be out here. And so that's why America is such a character in so many of my stories and my songs, because I lit out on the road when I was young, and I didn't mind being there.
The funny thing is, I listened to the whole record doing my cardio this morning, right? And my very first thought was, boy, we're traveling a lot. We're in Montana, we're in Virginia, we're back in Georgia. I mean, this is a road record. We're seeing America.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, the first song, we're outside of Augusta playing music with my friends, and so that's called "Nobody's Gonna Make It Out Alive," and it follows that point in your career when you're young. When I was young, and I was out on the road trying to play music, and we're playing for nobody, and running from, we got a bill due here, somebody's boyfriend's angry over here.
Oh, that's funny.
Keep going. No, we can't go back there.
Yeah. Every day we got to wake up.
Don't stop in Waco.
We are not going back to Saskatchewan this year. That's for sure.
Sorry.
Well, we're going to play my favorite song off the new record in just a minute. But you mentioned your music taking shape. A Drop in the Ocean had to just be such a game changer for you. I mean, that's just, we're looking 400, 500, 600 million streams of
I think it's 1 billion
song.
now total.
Yes, it's
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's a song I wrote in my bedroom with my roommate when I still had roommates. That's how long ago I wrote that. I wrote that song, and it really did. It fundamentally changed my life. It went out into the world, and it found all of these people that were excited about music, and then they took it and ran with it and spread it all over the place. And luckily I already had a bunch of music out, so those people were able to become fans of me as an artist, not just of a song, and that made it into a more reasonable path to a career.
That's amazing.
Did that feel more special? Or was it just another song you liked, and that was the one that took off? It could have been 10 other songs.
I wrote a lot of songs right in that same period of time, and that were songs that I liked more than that. I would say I had no idea, honestly, in the beginning, because I was writing so much. I was creating so much music, and so I had no idea that would be the one. I actually pitched it for someone else, and they didn't cut it. And one of my buddies was like, that Ocean song, that's pretty good. You should put that out. And so I put out the work tape. It's just one take of the keyboard and one take of a vocal so that we could pitch it to an artist. And then, so the first recording of it that everybody found was that. It's just one take vocal, one take keyboard. That's it.
It's beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful. We're going to roll the video for In the Morning with Coffee On. Immediately, my head went to the Johnny Cash quote. Somebody asked him, what is paradise? And he said, this morning with her drinking coffee, talking about June. So I get the whole picture of that, but give us the backstory on this song.
I was sitting on a dock really early one morning. We were in Muscle Shoals, and we'd taken a little trip as a family, and my wife was still asleep. My daughter was still asleep. It was still dark outside. And I went outside, wrapped myself in a quilt, and I brought my guitar with me, and I was just sitting out there thinking about life as you do when you sit on a dock in the dark. And I was thinking about where I am now. I'm a father, I'm a husband. There's so many things that I am that I had no idea that I would ever become. You set out to play guitar in a Southern rock band. It's like going home and leaving home to become a gunfighter. You don't assume you're going to make it back after that.
Right.
And instead, I'm a dad and I'm a husband, and it's been such a wild, circuitous, far out journey to get to this point where I am all these things. So it tells that story as my wife was still in bed, which is, it's very rare that I'm awake before my wife. Usually, you don't walk around with this haircut getting up super early. So.
I love it.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And more with singer-songwriter Ron Pope, who is in studio with us this morning ahead of some shows that are going to be happening here this coming Friday. Going to be at 3rd and Lindsley at noon. And I had to double check. I was like, noon? Really? Noon?
Part of Finally Friday. I'm going to show up. I'm going to play in the middle of the day. That's right. We're going to make music at noon.
What? What?
Yeah, I know.
Man, that feels so wrong.
It does feel wrong, doesn't it? But we're going to do it anyway.
I like it. I was just going to say, I've been to Third and Lindsley many, many times.
Not in the daytime.
Never before 5.
Yeah.
And probably not even really before 7. But then you have another show that's going to be at the Basement East. That's coming up next month, March 15th. That's going to be on Saturday, March 15th at 8 p.m. And Basement East is always a jam. It's a good time.
It is so much fun to be there. I love it's for a long time it was sort of my local. I would just walk
Was
in there.
it?
And, we lived in the neighborhood pretty close by, so I would often walk in there when friends were in town on tour. It was the place where I could see the most of my friends. They happened to play there for so long, so I would see so many of my friends.
And I'm so glad that it's back because it was really damaged with the tornadoes and then coming back really strong. So that's great.
That was horrifying.
It was a bad 2 weeks with the tornadoes, and then we shut the world down.
Yeah, that was a trying time in this neighborhood. I will say, I was so uplifted though at the community response to the tornado. I mean, we lived in a neighborhood that it hopped over our house and got other houses a few blocks away from us. And I was so inspired to see the community come together. It was such a beautiful moment to be a resident of Nashville because everybody was out in the streets and you saw other people in entertainment and your neighbors. We were all out there with brooms and chainsaws just helping everybody around us. And I thought that was a really lovely thing to witness because, I don't know, so many things in humanity, it's about dividing us. And that was just, everybody came together. It didn't matter how they felt about anything else. They were there to help their neighbors. And so that was really a beautiful time in our city.
If we could act normally like we do in crisis, it'd be a much better place.
Amen.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Well, tell us about the new album, American Man, American Music. How many albums does this make for you?
Oh, I don't know, 1,000?
No, seriously, you go to Wikipedia.
There's a lot.
I started counting. I gave up at like 21. I mean, there's a lot. You've been quite prolific.
Yeah, I was in a band, and so I made a bunch of records with them, and I have a bunch of solo albums, and I honestly don't know. I would have to sit and count. But American Man, American Music is about my journey to become a grown-up or whatever version of a grown-up I am. I mean, I am somebody's father, so I feel like I have to try to be a grown-up the best I can. And it follows me from when I was a kid. There's a song on there called Mama Drove a Mustang. My mom got a Mustang when she was 24 and she got a divorce. It was a big thing for her. She'd always wanted one. They came out in 64, which is the year she was born. And so she really wanted a Mustang. So my mom had a Mustang when I was a little kid. So there's moments on this where I'm a little boy and I'm trying to figure out who I am. And then I'm in songs like Nobody's Gonna Make It Out Alive. I'm a young musician out on the road trying to figure out who am I and who cares about what I'm trying to say and what does this all mean. And so I'm the main character in a lot of these songs, but there's also songs like I Gotta Change or I'm Gonna Die, which is about the opioid epidemic. And I was angry about that. I wanted to write something angry, but instead I looked at so many people that I know in recovery and they're such hopeful people. So I was like, I should write a hopeful song because that's what these people are about in my life. They're the most hopeful people I know. So that's what I Gotta Change or I'm Gonna Die is really about. It's about hope.
Where is a place that you showed up and it was so unexpected? Either the show was unexpected or the people in the audience were unexpected that you walked away from it going, wow, okay, this touches people that I don't even realize. I think that's always the fun thing, right? When you have that realization that your music is universal and it's touching people that in a place that you just really thought, there might show up, and then they showed up in droves.
Well, I think a really incredible thing about being a musician, it's like, all of us are moving through the world and we're experiencing the same things. We all know about love and hope and faith and loss and all of that. But as a musician, I get to try to explain how that feels and make music for other people. I tell a love story. It's my love story, but they take it and they make that song a part of their love story. And that's pretty magical. And so for me, every night that people show up is pretty unbelievable. We played at Music Midtown in Atlanta once, and I was the first artist on there one year, and I had gone as a kid a bunch of times and crowd surfed, got dropped on my head, crazy stuff like that.
That's a rite of passage.
Yeah, gotta
Music Midtown.
Gotta get dropped. Gotta get dropped. If you're gonna crowd surf, you gotta get dropped at least once. And so we were playing at Music Midtown, and I looked out, and so much of my family, my nephews were little, and my nephews were out there with the big headphones covering their ears. They had little tiny T-shirts with my name on it.
Oh, that's cute.
And so it was pretty priceless. So that was one where I looked out, and Atlanta was really embracing my music, and I had started there. I grew up there making music, and so that was a pretty powerful moment for me to be in my hometown and have so many people show up to watch me and sing my songs back at me.
It's a cool moment too for an artist when you get paid to do something you used to pay to do.
Yeah,
It's like I used to be out. I paid to be out there. Now I'm getting paid to be here.
All the things that used to be my hobbies are a part of my job now, which is pretty magical.
Yeah.
I go to a music festival and I walk around backstage and all my friends are there.
It's also fun when the stuff that you couldn't afford, people are now giving to you. Even though you can afford it now, they're just handing it to you. You're like, oh.
I'll take this with me, thank you.
That's how this works? I had no idea. That's incredible. We are going to play Mama Drove a Mustang, which I think is so great because my mom too had a Mustang. There's something about the Mustang.
Makes them feel cool, that's what it is.
It does make them feel really cool. What color was your mom's?
White.
Nice. Do you remember like the back seat and what it felt like? Or was this like pre and you were already in the front seat?
I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And the back seat was very, very small. But we were both, my brother was really little. And so it was fine that the car was really small because, like I said, it made her feel cool. And she was newly divorced and she was out there trying to have a nice time for the first time in her life. It's like, you get your Mustang, have a nice time.
That's right. Mom had a Mustang. I love
And then she got a minivan eventually. So she chilled out.
Yeah.
So what are you driving now?
Me?
Yeah.
A Subaru.
There you go. That's spoken like a true dad. That's so fun.
A lot of safety features in that.
A lot of safety features. That's exactly right. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Well, I had such a nice time with y'all.
One more question. Dream venue. Where's someplace you've never played that you want to play?
Well, right here. I've never played on the Opry.
There
so
it
I'd
is.
love to come and be on the Opry.
You are sitting on the wood that is the same wood as the Circle in the center of the Opry House. So early 1950s Ryman Auditorium.
Wow.
So
I'm glad you didn't tell me that before we started.
We'll take that vibe and put it over there one day.
There we go.
Hey, by the way, you're going to go see our friend Kathy Mattea this weekend over at Mountain Stage. That is
am.
one of the
Such a
coolest
great show.
I'm
shows.
so excited to go. I've never gotten to play there before, and I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, that's an incredible. Please give her our love because we love her so very much. Again, 3rd and Lindsley Friday at noon. So take a lunch break, go over, see Ron. He's going to be performing. And then again, March 15th, the Basement East. That's going to be Saturday at 8 p.m. You're listening to it on WSM. It's Coffee Country and Cody, and it's time for some entertainment headlines. We've got new music from our friend Chase Beckham. I'm excited about this. He said that it was really one of those moments of inspiration because he had been listening to Travis Tritt and Tim McGraw, which says a lot about Chase. Like, that's his era, you know, and you can hear that coming through in his music. So he was thinking about writing a song, and he said, I was really listening to both of them, and I drew inspiration from both of them. Here's what he had to say about this new song from Chase Beckham. It's called Everything I Need, and I thought that it was going to be more of a love song, but there's a little bit more to it.
We were opening up for Luke Bryan on Farm Tour, and I had a couple of my buddies that I write with all the time. They were out on the bus with me, and they came out there. We wanted to write a song like Great Day to Be Alive or Where the Green Grass Grows, just something to kind of up everybody's spirits while they're listening to my album.
Okay, so different take, right? It's not everything I need like she's everything I need, but I have everything I need kind of, I'm happy with my life. Very much Green Grass Grows, which love the fact that that was a part of it.
Yeah, big fan of that song. Big fan of him.
He's killing it right now. Number 1 for 23. That was last year. So Chase is coming out with that new music. Everything I Need is on his debut album. It's called Bad for Me, and it's out now. Well, I told you about this, and I want you to see it with your own eyes. I love watching the Westminster Dog Show. Y'all normally watch it. Do you get to see it when you can?
It is year in and year out one of the highest rated shows in America. People love the dog show.
It is?
I'll watch. I don't make an appointment viewing, but if it's on, I'll watch a few minutes. I like the pugs and the Cairn Terriers, and the pugs don't ever seem to win.
No, they don't. I do
It's
like
an
when
anti-pug.
they bring them out and they're like the
competition.
working dogs. I'm like, those are my dogs, the working dog class. Well, the winner at this year's Westminster is a giant schnauzer. And for those of you that are watching on Circle or on Peacock, you can see he's a big boy. I've never seen a schnauzer that looks this size. So regular schnauzer features the pointy ears and, you know, he's got the little mustache looking schnoz right there. But then he's big. He's the size of a standard poodle, like a big boy.
The giant schnauzer can go 60 to 110 pounds, depending on their diet.
Look at him.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
He's in good shape.
He is in good shape.
He's so sweet.
His name is Monty. He is 5 years old, and he just won the 149th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. Don't know how much money he won, but congratulations.
Intelligent, kind, loyal, powerful, dominant, strong-willed.
What's that? His
That's
horoscope?
a lot of people I know.
His temperament.
His horoscope.
Yeah.
He was born a Sagittarius. And he
Clearly not a Libra.
slow walks on the beach. All right, Thomas Rhett. I think he wins Dad of the Year. This is the cutest. He took his girls to Walt Disney World to celebrate Lennon's 5th birthday. And I'm telling you, watch this. She's carrying a Stitch that is the same size as her. She is literally, I mean, her whole body is taken up by this stuffed animal. Now, any parent knows, I really hope that was the end of the day. You don't buy that and then drag it around the park all day long. But I kind of have a feeling they may have. Well, she also got to do Bippity Boppity Boutique. You can tell by the little bun that she has in her hair. So she got to dress up like a princess. Cute, right?
I sense character dining was part of this as well.
There it is. She's with Cinderella.
Look at that. There it is.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
Yeah,
She
good job,
was with
Charlie.
Cinderella. So, and there she is getting sprinkled with her pixie dust. Precious little girl. What a family. Good job, Dad. Keep putting out those records so you can afford those trips to Disney World.
Did Reese have a favorite ride when she was really young? Because it changes as you get older, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing. People are like, you really are going back to Disney? I'm like, every trip is different because as she got older, she liked the bigger rides.
Oh, absolutely.
When she was younger, she liked Goofy's Barnstormer.
Oh, yeah. That's like the kid's first roller coaster.
Yeah. And then really fell in love with the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So that
that's because that's a nice little upscale. Okay, good.
But now we're in the thrill ride.
Yeah, of
so
course.
We're doing Tron. We're doing some of the bigger things. I remember the first time that we ever did what's the one that's in the dark? Space Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
We did Space Mountain for the first time. She was like, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Space
Adrenaline
Mountain beats
junkie.
you up, but it's good.
You got to sit in the first car.
I still do it. I still do it every year, even though it beats me up.
That's the key.
It's better in the first car.
First car, you don't get beat up as much. Just putting that out there for you. Okay, one more. This is Keith Urban talking about his look on romance as we approach Valentine's Day. You know, he's known for some of his big romantic ballads. Well, he said he drew inspiration from a Mark Twain classic, The Prince and the Pauper. Have I read it? No, I have not. But here's what he said. I'm a big fan of the way of looking at romance where there's a stable boy and the boy has to clean out the stalls, but that kid might one day marry the princess. He said, I find that to be a beautiful thing. I was always striving to be worthy of her affection, meaning his beautiful wife, of course, Nicole Kidman. He's been married now for 19 years to Nicole.
Oh, wow. Next year's a biggie.
Next year's a biggie. Yeah. Valentine's Day, Keith is going to be in Sin City. Well, don't know what they're going to be doing in Vegas, but they're there. The 2025 High in Vegas run at Fontainebleau in Las Vegas is happening. If you want tickets to see Keith on Valentine's Day, keithurban.com. I wonder if he's going to plan something for Nicole or if they're just going to like push it off and do it on another day. Yeah. Maybe he'll take her to see the Eagles at the Sphere. Hey, Nick, my buddy Vince Gill gave me some tickets so we can go see him. He's got a show down the strip.
They're there this weekend.
They are.
They are there this weekend.
I mean, if you plan it right, and Paul and I have really been trying to strategize because we really do want to go see Carrie before she ends. You've got Carrie Underwood doing her residency out there. You've got Keith Urban doing certain dates out there. You still have the Eagles that are at the Sphere. Then Kenny Chesney's going to be taking over. But there are like a few dates where you could hit 3.
And Garth has 10
our
shows
favorites.
left.
So Garth, Carrie, and the Eagles, I think all happen
You could make work.
one weekend in April. There's only one weekend that it all happens in April. Okay. It would be a very expensive weekend,
Yeah.
but it is
Just
available.
getting there is expensive.
Right?
Yeah,
Pricey.
there's no $99 flights.
Unfortunately, there is not. One more thing for everybody that's going through a broken heart right now. You can name a cockroach after your ex and then watch a reptile eat it. So happy Valentine's Day. It is at the VIA Aquarium, VIA Aquarium, $1. Name a cockroach after your ex. Then they feed it to a reptile and you can watch the video over and over again. Take that.
They're going to have fat reptiles at this aquarium.
Hey, we got more on the way here on Coffee Country and Cody.
This is Coffee Country and Cody.
We were at the Grand Ole Opry last night, and I had the honor of welcoming these two into the circle for the very first time. They made their Grand Ole Opry debut last night. JOHNNYSWIM, and then they got up early and they came in here to talk to us.
Yes, indeed.
Did our
Adler,
pleasure.
Amanda, guys, thank you for getting up early.
It's our pleasure.
We were
Honored
just
to be
going
here.
over, like, the last 48 hours have been crazy.
Yeah.
Chaotic, but in the best way.
Okay,
It's fun chaos.
Walk us through the week so far.
So far this week, well, our album came out last week, and so we did an
Friday.
event at the Grammy Museum, which was so fun. And then we had weekends full of children's birthday parties back to back, of course, as you do.
Of course.
We've got 3 kids, 10, 5, and 4. 10, 6, and 5. I nailed it.
Oh, good dad, good dad.
So birthday parties, rehearsal, Super Bowl party at our house, with however many people. Woke up the next morning, went to Jimmy Kimmel Live, did our sound check, played the show, went back home, packed our bags, slept for a few hours, got up, flew here, went straight to the Opry from
Monday night on Kimmel, Tuesday at the Opry. Wednesday's today, yeah?
yeah,
Yes.
welcome to
Wednesday, we got a day full of press and interviews here in Nashville. Tomorrow, a day full of press and interviews in Nashville. Friday, we go home for 1 day. Saturday, we go to New York City for press and interviews and our son's birthday. 3 days in New York City. Tuesday, we go to London. 2 weeks in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's we'll be
Yeah.
home for about 1 night of sleep this month.
But it's great because I feel like you gear up for this,
Yeah.
like you have an album come out and it's so exciting. And our last album came out during the pandemic, and so there wasn't anything, and it just felt like you worked hard on this project and you put it out and you just were twiddling your thumb at home just thinking about what groceries you needed for dinner.
Right.
And so this feels really exciting.
Okay, so Kimmel tapes middle of the afternoon.
Yes.
You know you've got an insane week coming up.
Yeah.
Do you stay up to watch yourself at 11:30?
You say no. You say, that was cool. I'm going to go to sleep. And you end up staying up anyway.
Of course.
He does. I
have
know.
to, right? Yeah.
I never watch any live performance like that. I always
Really?
Yes, it's like a thing
never
of mine.
has.
Because if I had fun, I want it to remain fun in my head with no,
You're not going to pick it apart.
no insecurities, no picking it apart. And if it was horrible, then I for sure don't want to see it.
Right, okay.
So I just don't watch it.
It's logic.
Yeah.
But for you, is it game film? Abner?
It's it's like game film. Is that how you
Yeah,
go to? That's
exactly.
exactly
You're like,
right.
okay, what'd we
That's
do?
exactly right. And it's never perfect. You know what's funny is we did our first late night television performance 12 years ago. Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And I remember we played. We didn't have an album out. We had an EP. We had 4 songs out, and we got done. And Amanda was with us, I think, in the room when we were watching the performance before, because we get to check the audio. It was the first and last time I've ever checked the audio from one of these performances. I just leave it in better hands, people that I trust. And I remember Amanda watched it, and she said, "Oh, it wasn't perfect." And there was a friend at the time, Ricky Minor, who was the MD for the Leno for the Tonight Show.
You just dropped Ricky Minor like not a big deal.
And I remember
He's
Ricky
a really
Minor.
big deal.
He's a legend,
friend.
musical legend.
Yeah.
And I remember Ricky pulled Amanda aside and he said, "I heard what you said, and I want you to know, and this is Ricky Minor, who's played with Michael Jackson, the
Sure.
E Street Band. I'm sure he's probably played with your mom as well." And he said, "I've played thousands of shows, huge and small, and all the variety of sizes from the Super Bowl to whatever." And he said, "I've never once had a perfect performance, but I've had a lot of great experiences. And when you
Moments. He
a
said-
lot of great moments."
Yeah. He said, don't worry about the perfection, worry about the moments. And I was like, okay, Ricky.
And we've always taken that to heart. And so it was, Kimmel wasn't perfect, but it was really great. And it was an amazing moment.
I'm going to use that line on my next performance review,
you
too.
go.
Listen, don't worry about the perfect. Just
Yeah.
like experience the moment.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Well, take me back a decade. So was Leno as nice as he appeared to be?
Absolutely.
You know what's funny is I always, I was in the, on Conan's team,
Yeah.
right? During Late Night Wars, and it was
okay.
after he had taken the show back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did. So I wasn't at the time
Okay.
a Leno fan. And we're sitting there in our dressing room, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2, early before taping. And we're kind of just adjusting stuff. There's a little gift bag there. It's kind of sweet. Wow, that's cool. Knock on the door. Yeah, come in. You're not even looking at the door. And Jay Leno walks in his Canadian tuxedo.
Oh,
Hey, Abner, man, hey, just want to say hi. How are you? And I was so taken aback by how genuinely nice he was and is. And I looked at the gift basket, and it was like a handwritten letter from him with his autograph. And he draws his chin into his autograph. We lost that, which I hate that we did that. He was so kind. That I was like, how did I ever root against you, bro? This is so amazing.
He also, I don't know if he lives in our neighborhood. Or his garage is in our neighborhood. But you see him all the time, just driving around in his Canadian tuxedo, driving a different really cool car. And there's a little supermarket that's like corner market, you know.
Shout out to Handy
Market. And it's like, you know, it's kind of one of those, like, if you know, like all the locals go there, but he goes there all the time.
My mom just moved to California a couple years ago. We moved her to Burbank near us.
I was going to tell this story.
And Amanda has a great story about it.
So his mom,
P.S. They're married in case you didn't know.
You usurped my story. So I take her to Handy Market, and we're waiting in the checkout line, and I don't notice he's there because I'm still like, the checkout line is in the the dairy aisle.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at the butters, whatever, and his mom is like, oh, look at this butter, looks nice. And then she's trying to put it back and she can't reach, and all of a sudden Jay Leno turns around and is like, let me help you with that. And she starts chatting away with him, has no idea who he is at the moment. She's like, he's cute, he looks familiar. And I was like, it's Jay Leno. So she was like, Jay Leno, I flirted with Jay Leno. And then, you know,
she would never say that, but that's a great part of the story.
Yeah, she would never actually say that, but she did get to meet him in the dairy aisle.
All of this.
Yeah.
Last night, watching you guys walk into the Circle, I could tell that was a moment. Has that been on the dream board for a while?
It for sure has. We actually were talking about it, that there was like conversations about us doing this for almost 10 years. So the woman that books it came backstage last night and was like, I have emails from almost 10 years. And
11 years ago, 2014.
Yeah, so we've
Probably
we've
Gina,
heard it.
yeah.
It's been like this thing that's like, maybe we're going to do it. So for it to just happen and happen this week was so huge for us.
And you have family here and connections here, and they were there. And I think that's really special too. I love it when something like that happens, because there are so many milestones that happen for you as JOHNNYSWIM, that your family isn't there to watch it. Like they can watch it later or, you know, but that's a moment like you're all experiencing that together.
It's so great. And this week, particularly for me, I have two sisters. One sister was right there front and center at Kimmel with me. And then my other sister came last night. So I got to have both my sisters this week.
Neither of my sisters were present for either one.
Oh, they send their love.
Yes,
one was watching the kids.
Good stuff.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
We are talking with our friends JOHNNYSWIM. They got up so early after being on stage at the Grand Ole Opry last night. Abner and Amanda, thank you guys again for coming in, having that moment on the stage, making your Opry debut. You are just knocking them down, y'all. You're checking all the things off. So what's on the bucket list that would be a big shiny for 2025? I like that. Realistic. I would like to sleep sometime in 2025.
Yeah, exactly. No, honestly, we just take every little thing as it comes, and we're, try to enjoy each thing because we realize it's such a gift. And for two kids that, I was working at Starbucks and he was working at P.F. Chang's and we were writing songs together, we still look at each other and we go, look at this, who's richer than us? Like, we get to do what we love with the people that we love and, take it one day at a time.
So as a barista, what was the nightmare drink? What did you,
Frappuccinos,
my God, these
100%.
Really?
Frappuccinos. Yeah. You know what the worst, here's the worst. So keep this in mind. When you're going to Starbucks at like 8 or 9 p.m. after youth group with your kids on a Wednesday night.
Sure.
When they're closing and they order the Frappuccino, it's like, oh, come on. So that was the dreaded
Is that
thing.
because of making the drink or because of the cleanup?
No, the cleanup. It was like, it was making the drink, the coffee bar is kind of easy and easy to clean, but it was like, oh, we got to get out all the stuff and the ice and we got to clean blenders now. So yeah, the Frappuccino, the Wednesday late night Frappuccino was my least favorite.
Okay, literally taking my son to youth group tonight.
Yeah.
And there's a Starbucks on my way home.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
note to self,
No Frappuccino.
Something with steamed milk.
No, we'll go get Oreo McFlurry.
We'll
bother
There you
McDonald's.
go.
Bother McDonald's.
Just the cake pop and water. That's,
There it
that's
is.
the thing. They take it out
That's
and
all you
hand it
need.
over. That's just
Oh,
it.
that's funny.
Okay, so the new album, When the War Is Over, is out now. You are celebrating it in the best way, which is incredible. Which songs did you choose last night for the set on the Opry? How did you decide?
When I was thinking about it, I don't know what you thought. I was thinking of songs that I wanted to play on that stage in that moment. Not necessarily just the song that maybe would work the best or whatever, but like what makes sense to play at the Grand Ole Opry for us. What's something that kind of helps make the dream come true in a bigger way. Like, all right, let's do it. My dad was a big country music fan. He passed away many years ago. And he made me promise him that one day we'd play country music, and I told him absolutely not. And
Abner was his 19-year-old player R&B phase.
yeah, I was in an R&B phase for sure.
Sure, yeah.
And I mean, I think the phase stuck. We just added some stuff to it.
Well,
Folk,
country,
it's all
shifted, too.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
bigger umbrella right now.
Exactly. And so his dream was always for us to play the Grand Ole Opry. And so we have a song called I'm All Right that we just heard that references my dad a little bit, and it's a song that I think my dad would love. And I wanted to make sure we played that song on the Opry stage for sure. Our song Home is a song that changed our life.
Yes.
And it was the first song to get Sirius Radio play, and the first city that played it was Nashville, Tennessee. So it was amazing to be able to get to play that here at home. And then we played Alchemy, which is our kind of anti-love song from the new album that we love to do. And I wanted to make sure we get to sing that for everybody.
I had to sing something too because Home and I'm All Right are mostly his songs. So I was like, I want to sing something too.
We played Alchemy early in the show today. We pulled it from
come
last
on.
night.
Oh, amazing.
So beautiful.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
It needs to be in a Broadway show.
Yes.
It's such
Let's
a
go.
show-stopping number.
Thank
I-
you.
'cause it's, yeah,
All right, fine.
yeah. All right. I'm going to ask you the question that probably in your time together you have been asked the most. And I know the answer, but there may be somebody who doesn't. But how do Abner and Amanda become Johnny Swim? Where did the name come from?
First of all, you see her. I
He's
saw
asking
her.
about the name.
No. How did we become Johnny Swim? I like that question better. Watch this. I saw her and I said out loud, "That's the girl I'm gonna marry." Like full stop. Really said it. I never believed in the one. I never believed in like God's got one person for you. I never believed it because it
Again,
just takes
19-year-old player R&B phase.
because
Yeah,
it takes one person to mess up, pick the wrong person, and mess up the algorithm. And so I met her 4 years after seeing her and saying that out loud. And I told her within 24 hours of meeting her, I'll marry you tomorrow. I'll walk you down the aisle if you marry somebody else. It doesn't matter. I'll watch paint dry with you. Whatever you're into, I am now into that. I am happy to be a fan of whatever you're a fan of. And it just so happened that writing songs was something she was into and it was something I was into. And then we found out we could sing together. In that moment that we sang our first notes together, I realized I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth because this is how I get to be around her for longer. And that's where the band came from. It was an excuse to make out. Now we got kids. It's all still just an excuse.
You've seen the movie Coming to America?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you like? Whatever you like.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's it.
Whatever you
That's
like.
it. Well, you've got the guitar out. We would love for you to play something live.
Yeah,
What
let's
do you
do
wanna
it.
this morning?
We're going to play a song called Monte Carlo. It's the first song we've ever put on an album that's not a cover that we didn't write. This was written by a longtime collaborator of ours named Britton Newbill from Hendersonville, Tennessee, just down the street.
Shout out, Britton.
Britton Newbill, he lives in London now with the name Britton. I guess it was meant to be. And Britton wrote Home with us. He wrote Diamonds. A lot of our songs that there's a song that people were lucky enough to play at their weddings called Take the World that we wrote with Britton. And this one he wrote and he was like, man, I was thinking about you guys. And I immediately said, no, we don't record other people's songs like that. And then I heard the song again and again. And I was like, we need to record it. So this one's by Britton. It's called Monte Carlo.
Hello, incredible Johnny Swim. We love you guys. Okay, one more thing before we go, because I know we're out of time. I think that you were the first. I'm going to hold to it.
Yeah.
Tattoos backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. You had a tattoo artist in your
Yeah.
dressing room.
Our favorite tattoo artist in the world used to live in Sacramento, moved to Nashville just a couple weeks ago. His name's Garrett Callens, Ink by Garrett on Instagram. And I hit him up from the airplane. I was like, can you meet me at the Grand Ole Opry like in an hour? And he's like, yeah, I'm on my way.
Sure.
Got tattoos.
So you got a tattoo of the state of Tennessee. What was your tattoo,
We have
Amanda?
a song called She Checks the Weather. That's kind of like a personal song for me. And so I got a little umbrella for She Checks the Weather.
Oh, guys. I love that you are permanently inked
Yes.
in our home
Yes.
at the Grand Ole Opry.
And somewhere Post Malone and Jelly Roll are saying, damn it.
It should have been them.
How did we miss this opportunity?
We missed this. Guys, Johnny Swim, check it out. When the War Was Over, you're going to be at the Tennessee Theater over in Knoxville in April. And then in October, you're coming back. You're going to be at the Pinnacle here in Nashville, a new place. It's not even open yet.
Yeah, I've
I
never
know,
been
we're
there,
excited.
obviously.
It's going to have that new open smell. It'd be
Well,
great.
come see us again.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll be back in
Please do.
October.
We love you guys.
Thank you
Amanda,
so much for
Abner,
having us.
thank you
It's been
so
a dream
much.
come true.
Johnny Swim with us this morning in studio. More on the way here on Coffee Country and Cody.
More
You
Coffee,
better.
Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And hello to everybody who is watching us on all of our streaming devices, or if you are listening to us on WSM, good morning to you. Thank you again, Johnny Swim, coming in and being a part of the show this morning. Incredible. We have just been chatting away with both of them, and they've had no sleep in the last 48 hours, but still absolutely delightful. So we've given them some caffeine and some donuts, and hopefully they're going to get a few hours of sleep before they're on to the next thing.
Kind of like they worked morning radio.
Absolutely is what it is.
We feel their pain.
Yeah. So we're talking about Valentine's Day coming up. I'm trying to get everything ready for everybody. I like to help. I'm a giver. So I told you that you could possibly do something to get back at your ex. I found a new way. There's another way. There's several, actually. I'm going to spread them out over a couple of days. But this is one that I think really speaks to us, Charlie, as much as we love theme parks. If there's somebody that you just really have a grudge against and you're thinking, how could I get back at them? Apparently now you can have their name printed on a barf bag that will be on a ride at Universal Orlando. The Universal Studios Orlando. First of all, I didn't even know they had barf bags on some of these rides, but apparently they do. And secondly, now you can have someone's name printed on it. So, if there's an ex out there and you're like, hey, I'm going to get back at you because I want people throwing up all over your name.
Ooh, we're bitter people out there. People who come up with these ideas. Like Andy said earlier, who comes up with this idea?
It's not necessarily the person buying, but the person coming up with the idea. So that's one of them. That is available at attractiontickets.com. You can go to attractiontickets.com and find out how
All right. Only Disney ride that comes with a motion discomfort bag. As opposed to the barf
Mission
bag.
Space.
Orange Mission.
Orange Mission
Yes.
Space.
You're
I've
right.
never done it.
Really?
No, I've ridden. I can honestly say I think I've ridden every ride at Disney World, all of the parks, except for Mission Space.
The G-force is insane.
Did you do it?
Oh, Jackson and I love it. Renee did it one time, and despite them warning you 14 times to do the green mission in case you have issues, she did it, and it messed her up for a day and a half.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to waste. It's pricey. Going to these theme parks is really pricey. I'm not going to waste an entire day feeling crappy because I rode one ride.
Oh, we loved it though.
No, it's a hard pass for me. Hard pass. Okay, so if you don't want to do the barf bag, the other one that we've talked about this morning, putting your ex's name on a cockroach and then watch it get eaten by a reptile. This is in Schenectady, New York. Valentine's Day, if you have that ex, go to VIA Aquarium, VIA Aquarium in Schenectady. It's only $1, and they're going to do this tomorrow night. So it's on Valentine's Eve. Actually, Galentine's. Tomorrow's Galentine's, which is made popular by Parks and Rec. If you haven't watched the show, you should. Leslie Knope.
And you get a video of your bug being eaten, right?
You
can
watch it
over and over again. The joy.
I kind of want to do it because I just want to see it happen. I don't hate anybody enough that I would name the cockroach after them, but it would be kind of fun, right? What would be the name? What's a name that we could give a cockroach that could get eaten? Now I put you on the spot.
Just gonna let that slide.
We'll let that one slide.
Yep.
We could name it Henry Cho. He would think it was funny.
Oh, yeah, Henry would. Yes.
Henry would think it was
Yes.
funny. Yeah.
Yes.
Love you, Henry.
Mule Deer would also find it
Mule
humorous.
Deer would think it would be hilarious. All right. Dierks Bentley's got new music coming for us. We're going to feature it on Friday, but I got to tell you about it because there's a whole lot of buzz that's happening. He did a little snippet. It's called She Hates Me. And he's dropping it on Friday, Valentine's Day. So people are like, I wonder if this is going to be another one of those heartbreak songs like I'm brokenhearted because she hates me, or I did all the things and I deserve for her to hate me. Don't know, but we're going to dive into it. That's going to be happening on Friday with our New Music Friday. All right, one more story for you. This was the one that I just watched and I went, what? This dog is not what I expected, but he is the winner of the Westminster Dog Show this year. It is a 5-year-old Monty, and he is a giant schnauzer. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I didn't know there was such a thing as a giant schnauzer.
I Googled. They've been around since the 1700s.
Okay, clearly I'm not up to date. I'm looking
But they're
at
big
him.
boys,
Look
anywhere
at
from
him.
like 60 to 110 pounds.
Yeah, he is a big boy. So think of a schnauzer and then somebody hit it with a ray gun and just blew it up. So he's a big dog, 5 years old. He won the Best in Show prize at the 149th annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show presented by Purina. First time that it was back at Madison Square Garden in a long time because it used to be there and was gone for 4 years, but now it's back. Well, thanks for being with us this morning. Again, thank you to Ron Pope for being on the show. For our friends, JOHNNYSWIM, who we absolutely love, come back and join us tomorrow morning. We'll have more. Here's John Michael Montgomery.